Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and today I'm going to tell you exactly how to win in 2021 with money. Because 2020 was an insane year, especially for me and a lot of other people out there. But the cool thing about 2020 was basically when 2000 tech bubble actually happened and it popped, guess what? I was only 3 years old, so I didn't really care about it because, again, I was only 3 years old. When the housing crash happened in 2008, I didn't really care that much because, again, I was only around 11 years old and I had no idea about the housing market, how anything actually worked. But with 2020, basically, I'm 23 years old and obviously I care a lot more than all those instances because basically I lived through this entire point in life. And the biggest thing I learned is this, guys, okay? People go through life basically thinking like, hey, I am Superman, except that they don't have a plan B like Superman did, okay? Superman, although he's powerful, probably makes a lot of money, the answer is he's still a reporter and still puts on glasses, meaning you always want to go through life with a plan B and always want to go through life with an emergency plan, right? So if anything happens, something goes crazy, the answer is you have something to actually fall back on. But if all you do is hey, I'm going to have this one job, this one income, this one thing, and if that goes, you go, then that's not the best plan you actually want to have. So today, I'm going to give you guys my plan and what I basically do. And if you guys are new here, I post videos every single day, so you should also subscribe and hit the bell to get notified. On top of that, also destroying the like button. Now, the very first thing is this, guys. When I was 17 and graduated high school, I learned this right here. And it's the idea that you always need to have a day job. You always need to have a plan B. And for me, that was always about, hey, what can I do to make money while I'm working on something else, right? While I'm trying to become Superman, what can I do to make sure I'm not starving and homeless, right? So the idea was, hey, Tommy, great idea. Go to college, become an accountant. So when I was in high school and I graduated at age 17, I went straight to college to actually go ahead and become an accountant. Now, was I super passionate about accounting? The answer is, it wasn't my dream job, but I liked it. I was good at it, and it was gonna make me a lot of money. So the most powerful tool you actually have is your income. Now, one thing I don't like is loyalty towards companies. Now, here's why. Now, hear me out here, okay? Although I love a company that I work for, I am never going to put all my eggs in one basket because basically I have no control over that company. And if things go wrong, guess who's going to go out the door? That is me. The owners still stay there. They still make money. But if something goes wrong, they're going to go ahead and fire me no matter how much I love that company. And that's why I don't like blind loyalty, especially towards retailers, okay? I have friends that love retail jobs, people that basically work for retail for 15 years just because they basically love the company so much. But with 2020, it taught me a valuable lesson that a lot of retailers are not ready for a recession or a depression or, for example, a 3-month to 4-month pandemic at its peak. For example, Models, well, that company's not around anymore. J. Crew, oh my gosh, who said that, right? J. Crew, and also lastly, Lord and Teller, right? A lot of these companies, for 3-4 months, they could not hold up and take care of their employees and keep the doors open, right? Well, closed because, as you guys know, the doors needed to be closed. But how do you run a billion-dollar company or $100 million company where basically not enough money to carry you for around 3 to 6 months? That right there just threw off my whole game right there. So the answer is, no matter what company you work for or what job you have, you cannot just have blind loyalty, and you have to be working towards, hey, how do I go out there and increase my income? While I was in college trying to become an accountant, the answer was I had over 5 jobs. I worked at Gap, I did work study, I flipped phones, flipped sneakers, and on top of that, I started my own accounting business with small businesses. That way, I utilized my skills and actually made money from it. That way, I noticed exactly what I was good at, not good at, what was going to make me money, what wasn't, and on top of that, especially what I liked and what I didn't like. Whenever you go out there, for example, right now, a lot of people want to become real estate agents because basically a lot of YouTubers are real estate agents. So whatever you want to be, the answer is go out there and do it. Take 2021 to go ahead and increase your income, because the number one thing is, if you want to build wealth, is what is your income? If you work at McDonald's, great. That's your hustle. That is your job as Superman. But the answer is go out there, right? And try to get a license or a degree at night. Whatever it is, take a course to go out there and increase your income. Making $15 or $10 an hour is going to hold you back a ton when it comes to the way you can actually live your life. So the answer is, if you don't like school, that does not mean you don't like every single career when it comes to school. Look for 3 things when it comes to a career, okay? Something you like, something you're good at, and something that's going to make you a lot of money. If you don't like it, you will be miserable. If you're not good at it, you'll get fired. And on top of that, lastly, if it doesn't make you money, it's just going to be a hobby, and it's going to be usually a waste of time. Look for all three of those factors, and the way you find it is by basically trying different things out. But don't just have blind loyalties to company that will get rid of you when things go bad. Okay? That's my answer there. Now, number 2, guys, is basically you have to be prepared for the end of the world in 2021. Now, obviously, is the world gonna end? Most likely, no. But you have to be prepared for the worst thing to happen to you personally. And 2020 taught me that basically, hey, some people can't pay their rents anymore. Businesses went bankrupt. And on top of that, some people just lost their jobs completely and didn't know exactly what to do anymore. And the idea is that the best thing that could have helped most of these people is basically being prepared for it. It's not, for example, like, hey, the government's gonna help me out with $600 or $1,200 or $2,000, but basically, hey, I am prepared to take care of my expenses when things actually go wrong. When things are actually going good, I'm saving up money for a rainy day. That way, when things go wrong, I have money on the side to take care of myself. So for example, if in 2020, I lost every single source of income I actually had, and by the way, some were actually affected negatively, the answer is, guess what? I still had around 12 months worth of emergencies in case anything happened. That way, I was still going to be good to go for an entire year to figure out exactly what I was going to do next. So, a lot of people out there, when times are good, they invest into the wrong things. For example, they lease a car, they get into credit card debt, they lease a phone, they rent something they can't afford to rent. And in reality, some people think it's sexy not to own anything. In reality, I think it's dangerous and also stupid, because if your income stops, you basically lose everything you absolutely have, and that's not a place I actually want to be in life. So the answer is, when things are going well for you, or not that well for you, you always want to set aside between 10 to 20% of your income to save up to 3 to 6 months of emergencies. That way, if anything goes wrong, you have 6 months worth of rent, food, groceries, expenses, everything. That way you can go back and get back on your feet when the time comes. But you do not want to depend on the government, do not want to depend on handouts, and on top of that, you do not want to depend on the honesty or the generosity of your employer, because you never know what's going to happen, because again, they might go bankrupt, and 2020 basically taught us this. So 2021, I want you to build an emergency fund of at least 6 to 3 months. If you are very, very conservative like I am, build it up to 12 months. That way, you have a lot of time to figure things out. And my rule is I saved 10 to 20% of my income every time I got paid to build it up to its maximum when I actually didn't have one. When I had that money, I went ahead, put in an external account. That way, I was not tempted to go ahead and spend it on random stuff. That account is called Wealthfront. That's the account I use when it comes to emergencies, and the one I highly recommend you use also. Nothing specific. I'm not referral. I'm not sponsored. I don't get any ads from them. The answer is just something I recommend because I like the company. Now, number 3 is basically get out of debt, okay? And you want to listen to wealthy people on this. And by the way, most wealthy people out there do not have any crazy debt. They do not borrow money. And although people on the internet or, for example, TV might tell you, hey, no, debt is good, leverage is good, usually, why do millionaires say, hey, don't get into debt? Don't get into credit card debt? Because basically, you cannot get ahead in life. Basically, hey, I pay my credit card 18%. How is that going to be possible? The answer is going to make a lot of money from you. On top of that, my car, I don't own it. So basically, I pay $500 in payments every single month. Also, my student loan debts between $200 to $400 every single month. And again, also around 4 to 6% in interest. Also, I have personal loans. I also have a crazy mortgage. The answer is all this stuff. How do you get ahead in life when everyone takes a piece of your income to things that you basically don't even own in the first place? That is the crazy thing. And by the way, partially, I was one of those people that said, hey, you know what? Leverage is good. Go ahead and borrow money. Get rich off of other people's money. But in reality, that's just very risky. And partially, I was stupid and also had the wrong understanding. How is it possible that Warren told me, hey, don't get into credit card debt, don't borrow money. But then I say, hey, you know what? I can use, according to Robert Kiyosaki, I can grab other people's money, invest into this and that. But if anything goes wrong, I lose everything. But guess what? At least I got something. The answer is no. Sometimes being a little bit more patient and taking more time to build something is a lot better than putting everything you have at risk. So overall here, the answer is you want to get out of debt. It is very hard to get ahead in life paying someone 18% while your investments are only growing at around 8 to 10% every single year. The answer is everything is going to be offsetted. That is the crazy thing. So my strategy is this, okay? Don't get into credit card debt. If you want to build credit, put one small bill on a credit card, pay it off in full every single month, and forget about it, and you will build credits. On top of that, when you buy a car for cash and make sure it's used between 5 to 3 years. Now, Tommy, I don't want to have an old car. Warren Buffett, worth around $70 billion, drove a 10-year-old car. So how is it that I'm too special to go ahead and buy a used car? The answer is I'm not, okay? So I can go ahead and buy a 5-year-old car and basically ride around with it. I paid $3,000 or $8,000, but I paid cash for it that way. I have more income to go ahead and invest. My student loan debt also paid off, okay? That money is being taken to basically go ahead and prevent you from basically going ahead and investing. But tell me, it's only 4 to 5%. In reality, your investments are 8%. Minus taxes, inflation, everything is going to be offsetted. And that is what I mean, okay? So usually, pay off your debts. You have more money to then go ahead and basically invest and try to own things instead of leasing everything. If you want to buy a phone, this phone right here, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I have 2 phones, as you guys probably don't know yet. It's a surprise. Don't worry about it. But the answer is I have this phone and also this phone. This phone costs around $500. I paid for this phone, honestly, okay? $280 in cash. If I wanted new, $700. But guess what? The back is broken right here and the light is on. I don't know why, but let me just turn off the light here. But the light is on, right? But the answer is it's cracked back here and it cost me $280. To fix it, it's going to be around $150 if I wanted to do that. Or for example, I can put a skin back here and save a ton of money. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay $10, put a skin here, and it still works perfectly. This way, I can have this phone for the next, for example, I don't know, like 5 to 4 years. I paid $280 for it, but guess what? I don't owe anybody any money, T-Mobile or anybody. This way, this phone is mine, and no one can take it away from me, and I'm not paying a lot of money every single month just to go ahead and own a liability. Try to own things. Pay cash for things. That way, you don't end up owing everybody a piece of your income. Also, P.S. guys, full transparency here. On Monday, you'll see a video about basically how I bought the iPhone 12 Pro, but how I'm actually going to make a lot of money from it. So wait for that video. It's a really good video. I'm basically how to buy liabilities and then sell them for a profit. So then go ahead and buy cheaper versions, basically give you a lot of money. Basically buying an iPhone Pro, whatever it is, I'm going to make around $1,200 instead of basically spending around $1,200 to actually get the phone and buy it, okay? That's how crazy it actually is. Now, number 4 is basically start investing and be honest with yourself. Now, what does this mean? It means that basically there are 3 ways to go out there and invest. You call this speculate, value investment, picking stocks, or for example, index fund investing. Tell me, I don't know anything. I don't understand this. Well, overall, it's pretty simple. Speculating is basically when I see a stock and Bob said he made money, and Eric said he made money, so I go ahead and put money into it because basically I think it's going to go up, right? That is speculating. And value investing is basically when you know accounting and finance to basically value a company. So Apple is worth X amount, but in reality, the stock has it for X amount. This way I can buy it, have a safety margin, and basically buy it at a pretty decent price. Now, this right here, value investing, takes a lot of work, hours and hours of reading every single day. If you want to do that, great. But if you don't want to do that, by the way, if you do want to do it, a great book on it is this book right here. It's called Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Philip Fisher. It'll teach you a lot about it. But if you don't want to do all that work and turn it into a full-blown career, the answer is just do index fund investing. And the overall idea is in like 30 seconds here is basically buying the entire stock market. That way, you don't have to worry about one company going down, but this way you get a share of the overall progress of the entire stock market or whatever index fund you actually invest into. And by the way, if you want to copy my portfolio, I have a link down below to exactly what I invest into. So basically, if I am an average person and I have a normal job, the answer is I would go ahead and open up a Roth IRA, max it out every single year. And on top of that, if I get an employer match, max out the match on my employer side with the 401k. And then whatever money's left over, I grab that money and go ahead and put it into a taxable account of fairly balanced index funds. That is exactly what I basically would do. And it's basically what I do today, okay? That is basically what I do word for word. And by the way, I have a full video on investing if you want to see that. But basically, you want to invest in 2021, okay, 2021, exactly around 10 to 20% of your income. That way, your money starts to make money for you. Okay, that way you make money while you're not working, which is basically the best thing. Now, number 5, guys, here, and the last thing, and by the way, I know this video is long, but basically, I've seen longer episodes of Game of Thrones, and basically that made me no money whatsoever. But this video in some way is gonna make you more money and get you to keep more of your money. So that's why the last thing is basically you want to pay for things that people take 30 years to pay off, and you also want to invest in things with your own money and not borrow to go ahead and invest and leverage like crazy. Tommy, what do you mean here? Well, the average person might take around 30 years to actually pay off their mortgage, but the average millionaire might take between 7 to 10 years. Now, why is that? The answer is your biggest expense is usually going to be your home. So you buy a house and you follow the rule of 33%, where basically it does not cost you more than 30% of your income. The answer is you dump a bunch of money into your property. This way you own it a lot faster in 7 to 10 years. And that way your biggest expense, you basically own it now. And it's not going to cost you a ton of money. And now you have extra income and also extra money to actually go ahead and invest and invest and invest and basically make for yourself more and more money. Also, when it comes to investing, I am going to invest with my own money. Into stocks, I use my own money. I do not use margins to go ahead and borrow against my investments, so then go ahead and make more investments. The answer is usually that it's going to be very risky, and the best investors on earth do not recommend you do that. So why would I go ahead and say, you know what? I'm special, so I'm going to go ahead and not follow that rule? The answer is that's very dangerous. Also, when I buy a rental property, I'm going to put a large down payment on it, or for example, buy it in cash. That way, I own it, and during market downturns, I don't have to worry about it whatsoever. Because basically, if I lose my job, I want to make sure, hey, I already own it. It's mine. All this income is mine. Everything, cash flow, is all mine. This way, I'm not worried about anything. And by the way, people say all the time, Tommy, you know, you're very pessimistic about things. The answer is no. I'm very realistic about things. I know for a fact we had depressions, recessions, we had downturns, people lose their jobs. So you know all this stuff. You want to make sure, hey, you are not one of those people. That's why in 2020, although people got hurt, you know, honestly here, I wasn't hurt, right? Because basically, I was prepared for things to go wrong some way, somehow. I still had cash to basically go ahead and invest my money at a massive discount. That's why you want to be prepared to take advantage of things and not be like, hey, I'm going to do what this guy does, because basically, what happens if things don't go right? The answer is you're going to be screwed over, and that is not what I want for you. And then lastly, guys, okay, one thing one of my mentors told me from a book that I read, not a real mentor, was basically, don't believe anything I say. Go out there and do your own independent research. See, basically what I'm saying actually makes sense. And I'm very confident that once you're done with this video and look up what I'm saying here, the overall idea is this, guys, you increase your income, you get out of debt, you invest your money, you pay things off fast and in cash. That way, you don't have any crazy debt and don't take any risks. And this way, you also have a safety net. That way, you're good to go. That is the overall idea, not just for 2020 or 2021, but also your life, okay? That's the whole thing. That's how you win the game. And do whatever you basically want to do. And make sure you're happy doing what you're doing, or at least you enjoy it. You don't want to be miserable with a lot of money. That is not what you basically want. If I made $10 from YouTube, I would still be making videos on YouTube, because basically I love making videos, I love learning, and I love sharing everything I know. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video right here, guys, go ahead and like this video. On top of that, also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. And if you want to text me or talk to me one-on-one, join my Patreon, link down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at TommyBryson. And before I go, if you want to see exactly what I invest money into and how I invest, here's that video right here, and click my face right now. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.